Alright, welcome back to the party, guys. Unfortunately, I thought I had another video left to edit, but I forgot and miscounted. But I've got something here for you, but really quick, shout out to Indie Film for getting the secret word in the last video. Enjoy.
Members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to address you. My name is Miriam Grossman.
So if you remember, Miriam Grossman was the doctor in What is a Woman that came in after all the crazy gender-affirming doctors and gave her thoughts.
I am a board-certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist, author, and senior fellow at Do No Harm. I have been taking care of patients for 45 years.
Damn.
I'm going to use my time to respond to Dr. McNamara. First,
so I don't know what the doctor that she's responding to, I don't know what she said. That wasn't in this clip, but obviously they're talking about puberty blockers and all that stuff.
I'm struck by her use of the phrase sex assigned at birth.
Oh yeah, we know that's one that they've used. That's a perfect example of the semantic obfuscation that they use. That's always been the term, assigned at birth. But it was never meant to say that it was anything different than being observed. But they twist the words around, and that's how it goes.
Sex is not assigned at birth.
Ding.
Sex is established at conception, and it's recognized at birth.
Yeah, that's a weird one, how we talk about assigned at birth, yet we can have gender reveal parties. It's not like you don't know the gender, or the sex of the baby before it's born. But somehow they get away with that one.
Not earlier. Dr. McNamara claims that her views are science-based, but to claim that sex is assigned at birth is without any scientific basis whatsoever. Its language misleads people, especially children, into thinking that male and female are arbitrary
semantic obfuscation
designations and can change. That is simply not true. Dr. McNamara claims that social and medical interventions are the only evidence-based treatment and that scientific evidence shows it is life-saving. Without it, she's warning us, kids will commit suicide. Well, a growing number of countries have effectively banned the care to which she's referring. And
yeah, the leftists and liberals will talk about how when it comes to the economy, we should be exactly like Europe. But when it comes to this, no.
Thank God there's been no wave of cites or other mental health catastrophes. 3 years ago, Finland placed strict limitations on medical interventions for minors. Sweden did the same thing after a 14-year-old girl was found to have osteoporosis and spinal fractures from puberty blockers.
This is the type that they try to hand wave and say that there's no side effects. And, what was the one woman who said, oh, it's just like a song and you pause it and when you press play, it just picks right back up from the next note. No, it does not.
Investigation concluded, quote, the risks of anti-puberty and hormone treatment for those under 18 currently outweigh the possible benefits.
They currently outweigh the possible benefits. The risks and the downside outweigh the benefits. So what are we doing?
The UK conducted a review and called the evidence very low. They've also placed severe restrictions on the care that Dr. McNamara calls life-saving. Norway also analyzed the data and has made similar changes in policy.
And exactly. If you ask a leftist about any of those countries, would you prefer that we had the economy of Sweden or America? Norway or America? Any of these, and they say, oh, of course them, America, capitalism, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to their opinions on this,
The National Academy of Medicine in France warned, quote, great medical caution must be taken in children and adolescents, given the vulnerability of this population and the many undesirable, even serious complications the therapies cause. Doctors in New Zealand and Australia have published similar statements. Is Dr. McNamara suggesting that all these countries are rejecting evidence-based treatment and placing their kids at risk of suicide.
That's what they're trying to say.
Regarding that point of view, Finland's gender expert, Dr. Rita Kaltiela, said, quote, "It's purposeful disinformation, the spreading of which is irresponsible." All 7 countries, and Florida too, of course, concluded that kids don't need their development interrupted.
Imagine that. For millennia, we've had children growing up and being fine. You think we could just keep doing that? Sounds crazy to me.
The girls don't need their periods stopped and their voices lowered, and the boys don't need to grow breasts.
What is this craziness?
What they need is psychotherapy. I have other objections to Dr. McNamara's testimony. She insists that her position, only hers, represents standard medical care. What she doesn't want you to know is that there is no standard. There's a debate.
That's a great point. There is a heated debate going on right now. And the science has never settled in the way that they want to make you think it was for COVID. Science is a developing thing, but we have plenty of things in medical science that are, quote, settled science. If you break your leg, you put it in a cast and let it reheal. With this gender stuff, it is not. And she's right. The debate is heated.
A fierce debate. And on the side opposite her stand such prominent figures as Stephen Levine, Kenneth Zucker, Paul McHugh, and James Cantor, among others. These doctors are giants in the field.
Oh, but they don't have the right opinion, so they don't count.
They have been treating transgender patients and gathering data and publishing papers about them, and I mean no disrespect here, but since before Dr. McNamara was born. The point is that those veteran clinicians and others who have wisdom and experience are ignored because they disagree with the current narrative.
Yep.
They're against medical interventions for the same reason those 7 countries are.
Why? Because they actually care about children? They actually care about upholding the Hippocratic Oath? It's unheard of in America.
There is no evidence of long-term benefit, but there is evidence of harm.
Yup.
I'll end by quoting Jamie Reed, the courageous whistleblower from the Children's Gender Clinic in St. Louis. I believe that hospital receives the medical education funding that we're discussing today. She said that doctors at that clinic said, "We are building the plane while we are flying it." We are building the plane while we are flying it.
I can't think of a better analogy. That is perfectly said, and we have to understand that as much as we even think that on our side, that we have all the answers, the debate is still going. And while the debate is still going, while the plane is still being built, it cannot fly.